Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to quickly introduce myself. I am Aileen Mariana Rangel Quintero, and we are going to present the logistic plan for the company Chedraui in Durango, Durango. I am Aileen Rangel. The background. In 1920, Chedraui Commercial Group has its origins in the city of Jalapa, Veracruz. Then, in 1945, Chedraui began to have collaborators. In 1970, the first self-service store opens in the city of Jalapa, Veracruz, with a total of 70 employees. In July 1985, the company named Tiendas Chedraui S.A.D.C.B. On October 23, 2013, there were present 202 branches, of which 146 at Chedraui store, 42 Super Chedraui, 2 Chedraui store, 2 Super Chedraui Select, and 10 Super Chedraui Select. On December 31st, 2015, there are 224 branches in Mexico, which are divided in Chedraui Store, Super Chedraui Store, Select Chedraui Store, and Super Chedraui Store. On December 31st, 2019, they have 306 branches in Mexico. Then in United States, they operate a network of 125 supermarkets, of which 64 operates under the trade name El Super and 61 as Fiesta. The mission of Chedraui is take the products that customers prefer at the best price to all possible places, and the vision is maintains the fundamental values with which the first Chedraui store was created, in time and through people.
Good morning, my name is Cristian Avila, and I'm going to explain the organization chart that shows us the different departments that Chedraui has, but specifically the perishable area where we work that has 3 areas of fruit and vegetables, meat and fish, bakery, delicatessen, dairy, and frozen food. Well, Grupo Comercial Chedraui has 3 business segments, which are self-service in Mexico, self-service in the United States, and a real estate division. The distribution center is located in Guadalajara. The parent company is Chedraui Domingo Arrieta, here in Durango, and has 2 branches. One is Chedraui Nazas, and the other one is Chedraui Portal Durango. To continue, the general objective in this project is to establish a logistic improvement plan in the perishable warehouse area of Chedraui, proposing a better layout and the implementation of KPIs, which means key performance indicator. This will be promoting the efficiency and productivity performance in the functions of the employees, all of these improvements to reduce cost and time. Now, I'm going to explain this diagram that begins in the stock. When the merchandise is low, the order for missing goods is lifted. Then we ask the supplier if he has the required merchandise. If he says no, the company has to wait for the supplier to have them. If he says yes, the central distribution buys the merchandise directly. Once the merchandise is purchased, the central distribution verifies the merchandise in order to make sure that all the merchandise is complete and in good conditions. If not, the merchandise is returned to be sent again. Then, the branch checks the merchandise twice, this to make sure that all the merchandise is complete. The last 2 checks have to be according to the invoice, and finally the merchandise will be stored. Suppliers analysis. At first, suppliers that are interested in supply their merchandise in Chedraui must comply with 3 important things. The first one is a portfolio of products for sale. The second one is that the merchandise that the supplier is selling must have a barcode. And the last one All the merchandise, all the products must comply with the official Mexican norms. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. My name is Carla Estefanía Espinosa Gutierrez, and I'm going to talk about the supplier analysis. Once the supplier presents the product catalog, the contract is signed, where it is necessary to present the following documentation. The first one is the contract. The second one is the power of the legal representative as well as its official identification. The third one is the tax ID. The fourth one is the annex letter suppliers agreement. And the next one is the letter authorizing electronic payment. And the last one is the presentation letter. It's important to know that if the supplier doesn't meet with some requirements, they can be a supplier of Chedraui. The next point is suppliers evaluation based in KPI. Here we can see an evaluation of three suppliers from the company Chedraui that are Comercializadora de Lácteos y Derivados, Lala, Distribuidora Arca Continental, Coca-Cola, and the last one, Cervecería Modelo de México. We can see the summary of that evaluation. Each evaluation was done on different dates, so that each supplier could be evaluated correctly. As a result of that evaluation, we can observe that the suppliers got a good score since they complied with the delivered amounts of merchandise and with the time of delivery. Next point is provisioning plan methods and safety stock. In the case of the warehouse, Chedraui implements the FIFO method, first in, first out. This method is one of the most used, and in the case of the perishable area, the FIFO method is implemented so that it may have a lower amount of loss of merchandise. How a warehouse is valued using the FIFO method. An important part of maintaining good warehouse inventory control is knowing exactly the value of the merchandise. For this, it is necessary to always have correctly registered a series of parameters. The first one is the date of purchase or sale of products. The second one is the number of units sold or acquired, and the last one is the acquisition price of each unit. The next point is review plan against documentation and plan of action. Chedraui has a merchandise receipt area in which there is a plan to receive merchandise whenever one of the suppliers arrives, just as there are certain specifications for each of them. The first one is the boxes must be complete. The next one is the supplier must arrive on time. The next one is quantities must match purchase order. And the last one, it must be free of pledge. It's important to know that Chedraui has certain sections for the suppliers that don't comply with the supply of the merchandise on the agreed day. The next point is inventory evaluation based on KPI. Chedraui agrees that inventory optimization is one of the most complex problems to solve within the entire chain of operation. It is important to note that having excess stock has inventory costs that will have a negative impact on the company. Below is the inventory evaluation based on KPI of the Chedraui company.
Good morning, my name is Virirana Pacheco and I'm going to explain the chart of inventory evaluation based on KPI. Okay, here we have three indicators and its description: the evaluation date, the returns or rejections, and the 3 points of criteria to evaluate that are quality of merchandise, merchandise in order, and quantity of merchandise according with the request. In inventory demand, we have a total score of 75. In inventory rotation, we have a total score of 90, and inventory losses, we have a 60 as total score. Metrics of external and internal factors of negotiation with suppliers and customers. Here we have the external factors. In opportunities, we have the expansion to new markets through the e-commerce, the growth of economy and Durango, among others. In threats, we have the government regulations and restrictions by raw materials and products, and the lack of time to negotiate with suppliers. And here we have the internal factors. In strength, we have that the company offers quality service because it has experience with more than 10 years in services. Also, it has a program that is SAP and needs to reduce cost and operation for suppliers. And finally, we have the weaknesses. There are the high supplier costs, the lack of staff in some areas, and the lack of materials for lack of suppliers. Transport plan. Chedraui company works with outsourcing. That consists of hiring an external company to carry out some logistic processes or activities. In this case, Gurola Transport and AX Auto Express Guadiana are the companies in charge of the outsourcing with the Chedraui company. Monitoring and traceability of goods movement. As we know, Chedraui is a self-service marketing company. Is the most commonly used. Is when the customer goes to the store and pick up his products. Also, Chedraui has a pickup service and has home orders, but only for non-perishable items. Proposal to improve the layout of the production, sales, or service area. Chedraui company has a tangible physical elements to carry out the commercial activity of services, but it's important to take into account an improvement in the layout of information, in the safety of employers' working conditions, and in the customer interaction.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Daniela Soto Cepeda. I will explain you the reverse logistic proposal. Chedraui handles full returns and partial returns. The first one if the merchandise exceeds an amount of 200 pesos, or for the partial returns, therefore exists some reasons to apply the reverse logistic, such as expired merchandise, unsolicited merchandise, merchandise does not comply with the labeling requirement, among others. Like explain the proposal for improvement of warehouse layout. In the case of Chedraui, we did not suggest an improvement due to the current layout has all the signaling and security standards. Besides, it's strategically divided in sections as we can see in the image. As I previously said, for the company it's quite important to have all the same biology in order to have the maximum security for the employees and customers. Thus, Chedraui based that in the Mexican official standard NOM 003 SEGAP 2011. According to the results obtained, based on the activities we did and the objectives we established, it can be concluded the following. Firstly, it proposed the improvement plan in the perishable area having a reduction of 2% of losses. Secondly, it proposed an improvement in the layout of sales area with strategic points. Then, internal and external factors were identified to carry out a successful negotiation due to the SWOT analysis. Last but not least important, it recommends a PERT method in order to be more efficient in projects with large number of activities. Finally, we did several recommendations, such as SWOT matrix and its strategies. The second one, to establish a logistic improvement in the perishable area. The last one, implementation of key performance indicators to evaluate suppliers, customers, their transportation, and other areas. Thank you for your attention. We will wait you for questions in the comment box below, and we will gladly to answer them. On behalf of the entire team, we would like to thank our integrator advisor, our teachers, as well as the company Chedraui for the support shown during the project.